Okay, let's get ready for solving equations with distribution and level 2. So we're getting ready for our Delta Math practice. And okay, well, they're giving us a lot to do, a very bossy problem, if I say so myself. I'm going to see this equal sign. Look how funny it is. We just have a 32 on the right side and then all this stuff. All right. So remember back when I was talking about, getting tangles out, whether it's a rope or your hair, and I said, oh, easiest thing first. Well, sometimes that's not true. I'll tell you what, anytime we see that we have distributed property, we got to do that first. Let me see if I can think of an analogy. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's going to be gross if I talk about we used to call it like a rat's nest, like sometimes in the back of your head, like I grew up in Miami, so I think that's more of a southern term where, if you don't brush your hair for maybe a week, and you're just laying, always laying on the back of your head, sleeping, and anyways, you end up with a rat's nest back there. I definitely remember that growing up. I had one or two when I was a little one, and so maybe you got to really dig into the hard part first with that rat's nest. Okay, I told you it was going to be gross, and it's not really even a good analogy, but bottom line is when we see distributed property, let's go ahead and do it. So here we go. 4 times 5x is 20x. 4 times 3 is 12. And then we're going to bring down everything else that we didn't do anything to. Okay, so I kind of did like the rat's nest thing because, if you get in the middle of that, then you can just see what you're dealing with. We got a little over here, a little over there. All right, so what we have here is on this side, let's pick a good color. On this side, right, this is called an expression. We got just a lot of terms. So every 20x, that's a term. And then see the plus separates terms. So 12 is a term. And then see the minus separates terms. 2x is a term. That separates, and that's 2 is a term. All right, that's a lot. Let's just get rid of all that. But anyway, so we've got to combine all of these terms. And so first we're going to notice that we can combine, let's try that light blue, this sky blue, that's pretty. So see how this term is an x, so it's 20x. I see over here a negative 2x, and I know you're like, wait, isn't that just 2x? Isn't it just minus a 2x? No, that negative goes with the 2x, all right? So remember how Beyonce said to the left, every term, look to the left. I don't know, that's not really what she said, but she did say the left part. So that's really a negative 2x. So I'm going to go ahead and say 20x minus 2x. So I had 20 x's, and I subtracted 2 x's. How many x's do I have altogether now? I have 18x. Oh, we cannot see that, so let's go back to the orange. So we'd say 18x. All right, we're done with the x's. Let's go ahead and combine our other two terms. Picking a good color. Ooh, like lavender. This is going to be pretty. So we have a plus 12 and a plus 2. So 12 plus 2 is 14. Go back to my orange. So now look what we did. I'm doing my Taylor Swift thing. Look what they made me do, right? They made me go back to a two-step equation, also the lavender haze, but I'm going to stop because I'm not really a Swiftie. I think she's a very clever woman and very talented. All right, so here we go. Back to a two-step. We are back to a two-step, and we know how to do a two-step. We could do this with our eyes closed, right? So we're going to go ahead and subtract that 14. And we've got 32 minus 14. I swear I cannot do subtraction without a calculator right now. 12 minus 4 is 8. 2 minus 1 is 18. That makes sense, right? All right, and then let's divide both sides by 18, and I'm running out of space, but we get x equals 1. All right, so distribution level 2 is not going to be that bad. It's just about after we distribute, we got to gather like terms on the same side of the equation. So let's do it again. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, this one's the same except for, look. All right, let's put that line down. Pick a different color. Too bad we can't always do that lavender one. I really like that. Let's do pink. So this time the only difference is we're distributing a negative 2. So we got to remember, distribute the negative part too, all right? So negative 2x, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And then bring down everything we didn't do anything to. And then once again, let's bring up the lavender. Once again, we're going to combine like terms. I see a negative 2x and a positive x. Am I going too fast? I think I am. You can slow me down if I am, okay? I guess when I stop and talk about random things, that does kind of slow down. So negative 2 plus 1, right? If this bothers you because you don't see a number in front of the x, put a 1. So 1x is the same thing as x. It's kind of like this. If somebody handed you something like, here's a book, they wouldn't say, here's one book. Well, duh, they're giving you one book. Okay. So that's why when we see an x, we know it's the same thing as 1x. So let's go ahead and combine those two, and we'll have negative 2x plus 1, so it's negative. I'm going to write the 1x. That might be helpful to us. And then let's go ahead and use a pale, let's use that. I like that harvest gold. Let's combine the negative 2 and the negative 2. So if I put in my, remember combining is adding. So negative 2 plus negative 2, that's negative 4. Or I could pick up my calculator and literally just do negative 2 minus 2. All right, so negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. Whoops, I just switch back over. All right, now guess what? Two-step, we're back to a two-step, always back to a two-step. Let's go ahead and add the 4. So we're going to bring down what we didn't do. Negative 10, this goes away. Negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. We're going to divide both sides by negative 1. And we get x equals 6. All right, is that it? Or are they giving us another one? Oh, they're giving us another one. All right, we can do it. We're strong. All right, let's use our harvest gold and put that up. My harvest gold turned into pink. Let's use our harvest gold to do this problem because I like that color. All right, now this is really random, right? There's no number. There's just a negative sign. A lot of people like changing that negative to a negative 1. You could just distribute the negative, but for some reason just changing it to a negative 1 is helpful. So here we go. Negative 1 times negative 10x, it's going to be negative 1 times negative 10 is positive 10. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Now, we're done with our distributive property, right? Now we're just going to bring down everything we didn't do anything to. All right, and now we're going to start combining like terms. And really, what do we have? We have 10x and minus 4x, right? So that's going to be 10 minus 4 is 6x. Let's bring down the minus 1 we didn't do anything to. Bring down the equal, bring down the 7x. And don't you know it? Oh, well, it's not really a two-step, is it? Because, all right, this is one time I'm going to break my rule. So see how the 7x is on the right side. You know how I like my x's on the left, but you know what? It's just going to make a better problem if I move the 6x. So I can't be stubborn all the time, right? I have to be flexible. So let's move the 6x over. Let's get rid of it. Let's subtract the 6x from that side. Subtract it from this side is gone here. I get a negative 1. 7x minus 6x is 1x. Divide both sides by 1. Man, these problems are too long. I'm running out of room. All right. So I got x, because 1 and 1 cancel out. Negative 1 divided by 1 is just negative 1. And that's my answer. Yay! All right. Good luck on these Delta Math ones. They're getting a little harder, but if you slow down and be careful, it's all going to be good. All right. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.